Angelina, it's a pleasure to see you again and meet you again, and you look fantastic. You look amazingly beautiful. The storyline of Salt suddenly has become a scary reality. What do you make of this?
I think it's bizarre timing for the film. It's quite it's put us in a funny position of you know, to comment on the information still coming out, you know. But I believe that Russia has acknowledged they're all citizens of Russia, and yet Russia doesn't want to acknowledge what our Justice Department is calling them out for, and so it's very interesting. It's very complicated.
Let's hope for the best. You know, you've played similar characters in the past. You know, not necessarily a spy, but someone who's physically fit and who knows what to do in certain situations. Did this script appeal to you because it was right after pregnancy that you said, you know, instead of washing up and watching the kids, I can fight and, pardon my French, kick ass?
Yeah, there's certainly a part of that. I was home in bed with the twins and feeding them, and kind of read the script sitting there, and yeah, and did have that thought of, God, I'd love to just get out of this nightgown and kick some ass. And it's a really good balance, because I love being a mom, but it's really nice to just balance it with and be really physical and aggressive, and it was good timing.
There's a huge obsession, especially in the States, among female actresses to stay physically fit all the time. You're amazingly fit in this, but you're always beautiful. But is that something, an obsession that you basically say, I couldn't be bothered with, and how did you get in shape for this movie?
Well, I try to just be healthy, you know. So I try to eat healthy and be healthy, but I don't have a really strict routine in any way, because my life's too full and the kids, and I don't really have the time. So, but for this film, I don't think I was in as good a shape as I, you know, it was just a few months after having the twins, so I just wanted to be able to be, you know, just back in some way. So it took me a while, even just getting my running back or getting my physical. So it was funny. I think the first few weeks I was a little slow, and then I eventually caught back up.
So what did you do? Did you, I mean, do you hire a personal trainer, and did you talk to FBI agents and CIA agents?
We did. We talked to a lot of CIA agents and a lot of the women. They were very interesting, because they're very sweet little women, blonde hair, blue-eyed, look like the librarian, and have extraordinary extensive training in the field, and have been in dangerous situations, and so made us know immediately it certainly is possible. And then I worked a lot with Eunice Huthard, who does you know, doubles me sometimes, but also just sets my stunts. And we've known each other since the first Tomb Raider.
There was a really great question during the press conference about fear, because you go quite far in this movie. I mean, some of the stunts are amazing. Is that something that you have to keep yourself from doing? Are you so excited to get into a new project, especially if it's all about action, that you say, you know, I'm just going to get full on and see how far I can go?
Yeah, there is a part of me, but Simon, who does the coordinating, and Eunice, who was with me, they both have been friends for so long that they know I'll try to jump before my harness is totally done, so they tend to be there to double check me and triple check me and make sure that I'm safe, because so I have a really good safety net in people, you know, doing the rigs and looking out for me, so I know I can actually close my eyes and jump, and I think it's going to be all right. You know?
I would love to talk to you about your obsession with Germans in Germany, maybe, because you
Do
have
I
an
have
apartment in Berlin. August Diehl is in this movie. You just shot another one with Florian.
We don't have an apartment in Berlin. We'd
oh,
love
yeah,
to.
I thought you're going to, and you spent some time over there. So, August Diehl, was that an idea by Brad or by you? And Florian, how did he sort of?
Yes, I guess I do. That's so funny. I did not realize that I. You know, Brad's also worked with his partners that he works with in architecture and design, or the Graft from Germany as well. So he's, it's just fallen that way. But we do. We've spent time there. We have very close friends from Germany, and I have worked recently with August and Florian, who I think are two of the most talented people I've met in a long time, and yeah, hope to do more of that. Maybe the next film will be in Germany for me.
Oh.
No, maybe.
Okay, maybe in German, hopefully. Do you speak German yet? No.
No,
okay.
I would love to. Well, my father's German, so.
And your godfather is Maximilian Schell, isn't he? So, I mean, there is a German.
So I'm definitely connected. Yeah.
You know, this movie is all about disguises, and this might sound a little corny, but have you ever, you know, thought about dressing up you know, being someone else and checking out a certain situation, because you're in the public eye all the time. Is that something that you would do after doing this movie, or have done in the past?
I've thought about it. Since doing this movie, I did have that thought that maybe it'd be fun to... I did a bit in this movie. When I was dressed up in certain characters, I could walk around. Certainly when I was the man, I walked through the lobby of the hotel and nobody batted an eye.
How did
Except
that
women
feel?
looked at me different. Well, he was a military man, so it felt quite impressive. But it felt strange. It felt nice in an odd way. You know, you have this. It's one of the great things we get to do as actors. We get to explore other sides. But I have not gone out publicly dressed up in a disguise, but I would certainly consider it.
Maybe in Berlin at some point. You know, it's all about, you know, Evelyn Salt leads a double life. There's so many plot twists that you don't really know which way this whole thing is going to go. If she's really a baddie or a goodie, if she's on the American side, on the Russian side. Is this something that you intended to be a franchise? I mean, are you looking forward to doing this? Because at some point you said, you know, acting is not really on the top of my priority list in the future.
I'm sure there are a few more films I'll be doing, and if one of them is a sequel to this, that would be great, because she does have a real depth for an action movie. She has real depth and her history and her origins and the fact that she can be so many different people, because maybe she is who she is at the end of the movie. Maybe she's not really that either. So it leads for a lot more to explore. If audiences like it, then we'll probably do another one.
Could you imagine yourself, because you've done a lot of action, fantastic action movies, that you see yourself in a comedy in the future, or more romantic comedy?
People keep asking me this, right? That must seem too serious.
No.
I would love to try to do a comedy, but I'm not that funny. So I think there are other actresses that are really funny that should get those roles, you know, that I don't know if I have that talent. I think that's a very specific talent, a comedian.
I mean, there are different layers of being funny. You can be physically funny or good lines. I mean, someone just has to write good lines. And I think you would be perfect in a funny role.
I'd love to try.
So what is up there in the horizon? I mean, that talks about Cleopatra, that talks about a Wanted sequel, that talks about Mr. and Mrs. Smith sequel. Is that all something that might be coming together? And I mean, are you looking forward to finding a role to co-star next to your great friend?
Brad and I would love to work together. It's hard to figure out who would watch the kids if we're working at the same time, but we would love to work together. We went down the road thinking about a sequel to Mr. and Mrs., but it's hard to find the perfect. It really has to be great, and it's a hard thing to write and find. So we don't know if it'll be that or something else. Wanted, I won't be in a sequel, but there may be a sequel to the movie without me. As I'm dead.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'm
but
sorry.
There was talk about bringing me back to life, but I'm dead. And Cleopatra, I think we've talked about it, getting to the core of her real history and trying to write a story that's more true to who she really was than the films that have been done. But we'll see if a great script shows up. So.
I could watch your kids. I have plenty of nieces and
All right, I'll
nephews.
take you up on that.
Yeah, and I just take them swimming and playing
Come
with them
around.
all the
I'll
time.
call you this afternoon.
You know, leading a double life such as Evelyn Salt, would there be something that you would really look forward to? I mean, what kind of double life would you like to lead, if there's a chance to?
For me?
Yeah.
I'm living all that I've wanted to live. So I'm very, very lucky. I do have many different lives in some funny way. I get to be all these people in films. I get to be a woman to Brad, and I get to be a mom to my kids, and I get to, you know, so I have a lot of different personalities, and I enjoy switching between them.
How do you stay on that amazing amount of professionalism doing all these things, being a mother, being a great girlfriend, you know, and doing all the social work that you do in between? Because someone talked about, you know, being the Pope or American president. I mean, all the social stuff that you do. How do you do that? I mean, does your day have 26 hours instead of a normal 24-hour day?
You know, I do work a lot, and I love to work, but I have just that great balance. We wake up with the kids, and then we get them out to school, and then we work for a few hours, and then, you know, we schedule date nights, and we just have to think about it a lot. But I enjoy being busy, and And I also am very, very fortunate. There are a lot of people in the world that have to work 3 jobs and have no money and have no, and they balance. I have a lot of support, and Brad's an extraordinary support, so I'm really lucky.
Getting back to the movie, what does a script need to have to gain your interest next to the physicality of this script?
Just something that hasn't been done before. I think I'm interested in doing films, thinking of an audience and thinking that I would like to invite them to see a movie that is original for them and something fresh and a character that they don't already know, so I think it's usually comes down to that, and where I'm at in my life, the type of character, but the script always has to have something about it that's original.
So where does this movie fit in your career? If you look at what you've done in the past and what you want to do in the future, what does it say about your career choices and yourself at this moment?
Well, I think it's a nice one in that I tend to do either action films that are based in some kind of fantasy, like a Tomb Raider or a Wanted, or I've done films based in some kind of reality and that are more dramatic. And this is the first time for me where I've been able to do a film that has a lot of big action, but is also based in reality and has a great character. So it's the first time I've had the 2 things I love kind of in one film. So that's new.
Looking at the Bone Collector that you've done already with Philip Noyce, 10 years ago, and looking at what you've done now with Salt, do you feel yourself that you're a more mature actress and that what you did back then in some of the scenes might be different to what you did today? I mean, do you feel...
I hope so. I hope I'm getting better.
No, you are definitely getting better.
I do. I hope. The character in Bone Collector was such a rookie that in some way it suited me because I was new and she was new to the job. She was a very, nervous character in some way. And Denzel was the guy in the movie that had been there for a long time, and I was the rookie. But in Salt, she seems to be the one that's been around a little while, and so that's starting to suit me now, the one that's been around a little while.
Does it help if it's a director that you've worked with before? I mean, does it make it easier in connecting to the script and to the... Is there more trust in doing a project such as this one?
Yeah, and that his choice of films, because I'd been watching him and he'd been outside the studio system doing things like Rabbit Proof Fence, so he'd been focusing on really just on great drama, and that he was willing to come back into the studio system to do something that had great drama, but also back to his Patriot game roots. I thought that was really great. I knew he would make a great film.
Is it important to still get a paycheck as large as this one for you in your career, or is it more the content of the movie and the challenge?
I never have done a film for a paycheck, a film I didn't like, and I've done films for no money, and I've done films for lots of money. So you just do, you balance them. You balance the things you love,
There's something that I would like to hand to you, because you've been voted by the viewers of my network, Pro7, the most successful and greatest actress, and the most successful mom of all times. And it's the Red Star Award, and they really love you. I'm trying to put this together, but I had to take it into the plane. And normally, this is something really special, because there's something in there that basically describes why you received the prize, but I thought I kept it, empty for your kids to put something in there.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you very much. Thank you to your viewers. That means a lot to me.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angelina.